So the Clippers have won 9 straight games. The Clippers are the team right now, which is the hottest in the NBA, as they've won 9 straight games, and they are on fire in every way. I want to talk about this game, and I do want to say some things before I start. First, I want to say with the Clippers, shout out to James Harden. He's been absolutely amazing for them, being a positive always while on the floor, like having a positive plus minus in his past 5 games, and always being a player which has gotten wins for his team. He's had some great performances recently against the Warriors and Indiana, obviously. And even yesterday, what he did in that fourth quarter was crucial. So I do want to say that James Harden has been the leading factor of this. There was a stat which said that when James Harden is on the floor, the team is like plus 16 in plus minus. And when he's off the floor, they're like -6, right? So it's basically that James Harden is the most impactful player for his team, and he's been absolutely amazing in what he does recently. He's been the player leading the offense. It's obvious that guys like Kawhi, because if you saw the game, then you know that Kawhi took over the fourth quarter. It's obvious that guys like Kawhi are the ones who are entrusted with taking the final shots and really being the best players on the team. But James Harden has played his role beautifully, and for the Clippers, he's averaging 17 points on 43% from the field and 47% from the field and 43% from three. Meanwhile, having 7 assists, a steal, a block, and not having that many turnovers. James Harden has really been used to the best of his abilities, and honestly, I do want to say that this Clippers team looks dangerous. Yesterday they played each other, and even without Paul George, the Clippers still managed to beat the Dallas Mavericks by 9 points. The biggest winner and the biggest achiever of this game was Kawhi Leonard, who absolutely went insane, dropping 30 points. 30 points, 5 assists, and 10 rebounds. Meanwhile, it looking like he was hitting everything in the fourth quarter and absolutely going crazy in the clutch. Then you had a guy like James Harden, which got 11 assists, 17 points, and got 2 threes in the fourth quarter, which were just amazing. And Norman Powell and Russell Westbrook off the bench, which were both extremely efficient and both together had a great impact on the game. For the Mavericks, this game was just like tough. Luka, he got his stats in. He got almost a triple-double, but he was very inefficient, as it was like he started off the game being extremely inefficient, and then he picked it up in the middle of it, but then he went right back. The biggest problem with Luka was that in this game he missed 2 clutch free throws, and then when he came back on the other end and he got another offensive play, he missed the 3 that he took. So like the whole chance of the Mavericks winning this game was purely predicated on Luka Doncic, and he absolutely sold. Like missing 2 free throws in crunch time is dangerous. Then we have to shout out guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and Tim Hardaway, which also were able to get buckets. And from this game, the real reason why the Dallas Mavericks lost was mostly based on the fact that they couldn't come up in crunch time. But I honestly don't really want to talk about the Mavericks. I want to talk more about the Clippers. The Clippers have been amazing. I feel like adding James Harden has done well for them. They've won 9 straight games now, and what they have done to keep themselves, good and well conditioned and keep their team chemistry together, and the way that they've won games has been honestly extremely impressive. I think James Harden is the biggest reason why this team has had such an uptrend, and it's mostly due to the fact that a guy like James Harden has been able to put his stamp on his team, on this team, by sharing the ball, making good plays, and being able to get to his spots with consistency. Also, I think that having a point guard who could shoot, pass, and attack off the dribble helps, because you don't have to rely so much now on offense being created by a lot of people in one team. You have one guy who's going to generate your offense for you. And I think that that's the biggest perk of having a guy like James Harden. I do think that the Clippers are going to suffer through some periods, and that I don't think that they're going to win the championship, and I'll get into that right now. But I do believe that when we see a guy, like James Harden and like Kawhi Leonard and like Paul George and like Russell Westbrook, and when we see those guys on a team working well, I do believe that they have the chance of being dangerous come postseason. But the reason why I think, that they're not going to win anything is because of James Harden. James Harden has shown to be a historic choker. And when you put a lot of importance in his performance, and when you put a lot of emphasis on the way that he plays the game, which is a very take 16 dribbles, then make a play happen, run down the shot clock, and force it up a shot. Even if that is a play style that works for James Harden, it does not work for many playoff teams. It's too patient. It doesn't maximize anything. And if a defense is keying in and they know what you're going to do and they've been studying you for weeks, it's going to be hard to win a championship when nothing about the way that you play changes. In my opinion, what should happen is that we should get, like James Harden, ready in some way. And that's, I think, what the Clippers should do. I think the Clippers need to start changing the way that he plays, which he has. In the Clippers, he's been much more of I'll do whatever you need me to do, and I'll try to be as efficient as possible. But I do think that giving James Harden the green light is something way too dangerous to be comfortable with, And the reason why is because it's like, if you give James Harden the green light, then you might be putting yourself in a position where you might make a mistake, or he might make a mistake, and then you're forced to pay because you allowed him to make that mistake without any consequences. So with James Harden, it's honestly a balance. You have to be able to know what type of stuff with him is good for you and what's not. With Kawhi and PG, I'm extremely happy. They've been actually playing amazingly this season. They've been playing a lot of the games. So honestly, when we really look at them as the two playoff number 1 and 2, I do feel very comfortable with that. The only problem is when it gets to the other players. For Russell Westbrook, I do think that he was great in the playoffs last year, and I think that if he can do the same thing again, then that will be honestly great for his team. As last season, Russell Westbrook dropped a 30-point triple-double, just to try to get his team to win. He was playing crazy. He was going amazing. But he couldn't eventually get his team to win because Kawhi was injured. Paul George was injured, and the rest of the team wasn't just good enough. But with the Clippers this year, I do have a faith that they can get to the second round, or maybe even the Western Conference Finals if they have a very good year. Now, do they go to the finals or win something? Maybe not. I don't think so. But we'd have to see. So in the end, for the Clippers, I think the biggest thing right now is stay healthy, keep winning, and don't get in over your own head, because you guys are not close to the best team in the NBA. So make sure that you guys play through your stars, and that you guys can figure that out with James Harden, and how is it going to look come postseason time. But yeah, that's been it for the video, and peace.